He didn't want me to even leave the house. He didn't want me to have friends. He didn't want me to go anywhere. I couldn't,
right.
you know, and I did things. I was always doing something.
Sure.
Even if I didn't stay to it, you know, I went to Roger Williams University. I went to CCRI. I did modeling. I did all kinds of stuff. I was always trying to do something, but because I didn't have that, you know, that foundation, someone just to back me up, right. It was always like I would try it and then it would, you know, something would happen.
Right.
But as I got older, that book, I'll say it 100 times, once I read that Bible and I got different instructions, it was almost like, you know, God was my teacher. Yeah. Everything changed. I started doing everything different. If I started something, I stuck to it.
Right.
You know, and I know part of it has to do with maturing and getting older. But yeah, he was very controlling, and I wouldn't have been able to move forward if I didn't
break free.
Yeah. I had to.
Yeah. What'd you study at Roger Williams?
Criminal law.
I also went to Roger Williams.
Did you?
But I studied theater.
Oh.
So, but I really
awesome.
Enjoyed it. It's a beautiful campus.
Yes.
Beautiful campus.
Yep.
So tell me, let's talk more about the church itself. What is a typical day at church?
A typical day at church. Well, can I tell you about Friday nights first? All right. Friday nights, we have all the kids come in. We do all kinds of stuff. To me, they're like my family. So I never get upset about what kind of life I had, because I feel like God has blessed me with some amazing, amazing people. So these kids, they're all like my family to me. They all call me auntie. Okay. All of them. They call me auntie. We come together, and sometimes we'll have snacks, we'll have pizza, you know, whatever. And then we'll pray. And then we'll all sit down and just talk about how our week was, you know, and the kids will go on about the school and their parents and their siblings and whatever they're going through. And we'll just talk about it. And then we'll pray about it. And sometimes we'll pray in a circle, sometimes we won't, it depends. And then we always do something different. Like sometimes I'll have them memorize scriptures just because I want them to have it embedded in their heart. Other times we'll watch movies we've watched The Passion of the Christ. We watch so many different things. Sometimes I'll bring them all out. We'll take trips back and forth. I'll bring them to McDonald's. I'll do like 10 trips. But we're always doing something, you know, and just us having each other is amazing. And they've learned so much about God. I think the biggest reward for me is when I see the kids that when they first came, they say, how do you pray? And then I see them pray with me. Yeah. And I hear them talk and they pray and they close their eyes and they just start talking to God and they say words that I know that I've taught them. That's the best reward right there.
Yeah, they're definitely learning from your experience.
My goodness. Oh my goodness.
What happens if someone confides in you something that you think maybe an authority figure should be involved in, or a parent needs to be involved? How do you handle those? That's happened. I definitely would talk to them first, because I would never want them to think that I went behind their back or they couldn't trust me. Right, because it breaks that trust. Right, I would never do that without them knowing. So I would always have to tell them, because they're going to remember, they're going to look back and remember that, you know what, at least she told me. So I try to talk to them about it and involve them. Like, we need to talk to someone. Let's go talk to someone. You know, maybe so-and-so could help, you know, or why don't I talk to your parents with you if it's, and then we'll do it together so they don't feel like I'm doing it behind their back. Right. Yeah. Now, do you get funding for this, or is this all out of pocket, out of your own heart, or how does it work? I pretty much do it myself. However, on Sunday, we do have a church together, and there are a couple sisters that come to the church, and they help me out sometimes. Okay. So that's good. Yeah, they bless me to, they bless the youth group, but pretty much I just do it. Wow, that's great. Now, what made you decide to be a host here? Veterans is on the AIDEFoundation's heart, and the homeless, and I've experienced a lot of that. Like my adopted dad that I took in, he was a veteran. Oh. So, you know, that touched my heart. Wanting to help people. I'm 33 years old, but I work with the elderly. I understand them so much. I understand people's pain. So anything that I can do to help, and especially when God's involved, I'm all for it. Now, where do you see yourself going now? Do you see yourself continuing this on into your 90s and doing nothing else? Or are you thinking expansion? Are you thinking school?
Don't know. I just know that God has something for me. I love to think about the disciples in the Bible. They would go on their porch and they would open their doors to their home and they would just teach. You know, I just wish that so many more people would do that, like not making it an organization, but this is who I am. Like I want to, you know, just open my life, open my home. If it has to take time out of my day, that's okay, because, you know, we're doing it for God. Like making God real in your everyday life, not just on a Sunday, not just on Friday night, not just, you know, whatever the specific time is, all the time, no matter what. Not for any specific reason, but because this is who you are. And I love how the disciples lived. And I know that's a long time ago, but I love when they say, you know, they were just all on their porch praying.
Right.
Or they were all in someone's home just praying, because it's real to me.
Sure.
So that's why I've had kids knock on my door 1, 2 o'clock in the morning in panic. And what am I going to say? You know, oh, church is closed. No, what's wrong, you know? Right. I had one, can I say it? Can I talk about it?
Yeah.
I had one kid 1 o'clock in the morning banging on my door. And I jumped up. I said, what's the matter? And he was crying. And he said, one of the other kids that comes to the Bible study, he was just yelling, he's dead, he's dead. I said, what do you mean? I said, what do you mean he's dead? He said, he's down the street, he's dead. I had one shoe on, one off, I'm running down the street. I'm like, where? What are you talking about? He was in a car accident. Now, listen how crazy it was, because both kids came to my study, but they both went to get in one car, but one said, nah, I'm gonna ride in the car behind. That was the one that came to my house. Right. He said, I'm gonna ride in the car behind. So kids being, you know, kids, floored it. Yeah. Going 100 and something miles per hour, hit a pole. Oh the car split right in half and he went through the windshield. Yeah. The one that was watching, he said that you were the first thing that came to my mind. He said, so I just ran here. So I got there and it was, there was police, there was ambulance, everything. I went up to the police officer, I asked, and he said, you better get to the hospital, because he went through the windshield and you know, landed backwards, whatever. So me and the boy that came to my house, we prayed all the way to the hospital. We just was praying. We sat there and we waited and we prayed. Anyhow, he ended up, you know, I don't even know how, he had a metal rod in his leg. I don't know how many stitches in his head, but today, perfect.
That's good.
Perfect. You know, so that was just one of my stories about, you know, my kids, that they had some place to go. Even though it was 1 o'clock in the morning, they knew that they could come to me, you know.
It's important.
It is. But thinking about my future, I don't know. I ask God every day. Every day I ask God, whatever you have. Oh, you know what? I've been writing, like, I want to reach out to kids in state care. Okay. I really, really want to reach out to kids in state care, because I can feel what they've gone through. And it's very important to me to hopefully have it where they can learn about God when they're in the system, because I believe that if I was taught more about God when I was in the system, I would have felt stronger. Okay. A lot of the kids that are in DCYF, they don't feel like they have support. You know, they don't even like telling people that they're in the system, because it automatically makes them feel weak or makes them feel less than. Okay. And I believe that if they've had some place like, you know, church, or were involved with believers that they could consider family, they would feel stronger. Sure. So I'd want to bring it to them however I could. I know it's difficult, because when you talk about the state and foster care and group homes, it gets difficult because, you know, legal, talking about God and if you can and if you can't. So I would love to try to be able to reach out to them.
Now, have you thought about maybe writing?
Yes. So that's what I was going to say. I started writing. I wrote about everything that I went through growing up, and a lot of other things changed since I gave my life to God. Right. My weight I used to be like 60, 70 pounds heavier.
Wow.
And when I gave my life to God, God shaping me up in every area, because I put everything before him. So if I didn't feel like physically that, you know, I was where I should be, I said, all right, I'm going to write out a plan. And then I wanted to be able to tell my story. So I said to myself, the only way to be able to tell my story is if I wrote maybe a couple pages a day. So I started doing that. And then I started doing my exercise and changing, you know, eating habits, stuff like that.
Sure.
And then over time, I almost have a finished book. You know, I lost 60 pounds. So God's just done some amazing things in my life. But writing, definitely. I want to try to go somewhere with that.
Okay. And
just continue to try to reach out to people.
Now, what do your own children feel about this?
I have they're all different. They all love God.
Okay.
And, but they're all so different. They all have their different personalities. Mm-hmm. One's an artist. She's an amazing, amazing artist. I have another one that's a senior at the North Providence High right now. Sure. And she loves to tell people about God. She loves talking about God, you know. She has some tattoos and, you know, I never cared about that though with my girls, honestly, because I am truly blessed that I have an 18-year-old. I have one that's going to be 16. Mm-hmm. I have a 14-year-old, 13, and 12.
Wow.
And
right after the other, huh?
Yes. I am truly, truly blessed because I always told them, piercings, this, that. I don't care about that.
Self-expression.
I care about your heart. Yeah. I care about how you treat people, and I care that you have God in your heart. So I see them read the Bible. I see them praying. That makes me very happy. Yeah. They're always sharing God with other people. One of them complains sometimes, and she says, oh, I think you put, you know, everything before, but that's not true. She is so spoiled, it's ridiculous. I'm always making time for her. Yes. So they definitely, like you said, self-express, definitely. Yeah. But they love God. They're good kids, and they're all at Bible study, except the one that says that.
Sure.
And
she'll come around.
Yeah, but you know what? She makes her time with me to pray, and when something's going on, we pray together. Right. You know, we'll read the Bible together. So they're all and you know what? Also, they saw my life change from it. Right. So they love, you know, they accept it. They love it because
they see the value.
They see it. Yes, absolutely.
I can't believe I'm having to say this, but we are out of time. We've actually gone through the whole 30 minutes. So I'm going to say thank you for coming, and that as the producer of the show, I'm very eager to see what you're going to bring to it. The guests that you'll interview, I'm sure will find you as charming as I do. And welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Nancy.